Hi, everybody. Good evening to you. Happy Thursday by my time. Glad to be with you and glad to be on this live tonight. Hope everybody's had a good day. Just kind of waiting here for just a minute for people to get the notice about my live and to jump on. So glad to be with you. I don't know about you, but I'm tired right now. I'm just going to admit it. I'm just like kind of dragging. So we'll see how much energy I bring to the table for this live this evening. And I'm going to depend on you all to make some comments and, help me along here. So thank you for being here. I'm always so honored to be with you. So let me start out and ask you something. And this is a question that we talk about a lot on this channel, and we kind of turn it around in different ways and, think about it from different perspectives. But what if you achieved everything that you were supposed to achieve, right? All the messages. Like you got the degree or the degrees. I know people that have like 4 master's degrees, all that kind of stuff. The career you always wanted, you achieved it, you have it. Hi, how you doing? The degree, the career, the 6-figure income, you're making over $100,000 a year, all the promotions, things going well, all the things. And then something inside you is whispering, is tugging at you, is pulling at you. And it's saying, and you're saying in yourself, I was made for more. There has to be more than this. Has anybody ever had that experience? Like you're doing really well and then you kind of stop and it's like you're hitting a wall and you're like, oh, there has to be more. Say hi if you're just jumping on. Glad to be with you tonight. Super glad to see you. I was sharing when we were first getting on live that I'm really tired tonight and that I want to be with you all to get some energy, and I'm going to depend on you to have conversation with me. So I keep my energy up on this. I'm just really tired. I don't know if anybody else is. Well, thank you for saying that I'm looking good, and thank you for speaking and joining in and hopping in. Everybody join in and say, hey, I love it. So yeah, there's something in you, and a lot of people I know, and it's happened to me too, that, I got going, I got achieving, I got all the things, and then something was saying to me, I'm made for more than this. I'm bigger than this. There's something else. There has to be something more. And if that's happened to you too, you might start thinking, well, what the world? What's wrong with me? Maybe I'm broken. Maybe I'm just really negative. Maybe I just think negatively all the time and there's something wrong. There is nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with you. It's just that you really are being called to something bigger. And here's the thing, and like I said, we've talked about this on this channel before, and we're looking at it from different angles. There's a problem with achieving. There's a problem in our capitalist society, our culture, that really nobody talks about. Really, hi, thanks for saying hi. So glad to have you guys jump on, send me a like. If you haven't subscribed before, please subscribe. Love being with you all, love having you in my community. So the problem that nobody really is talking about when you're achieving, and there's a lot of people that make good money and have like built their business, they're CEOs, they're doctors, they're attorneys. They've got all the things that society thinks they should have. So they feel guilty. I felt guilty because like I said, they're making the money, have a nice house, they can travel, but nope, don't play Roblox. I don't. I don't even know how to say it. Don't play it. But every single time they go back to work on Monday, into their career, into their job, and even into a business that they've built, it feels heavy. It feels like a lot. It feels like it's not the right thing. And why is that? Even if you're successful and you're making money and all the thing, and it is because income is not purpose. The money you make is not purpose. It won't give you purpose. It is a tool. You've probably heard that before. Somebody type in, money's a tool. And a lot of professionals stay in, even though they know something else is pulling them, even though, and I've been down this road, something like I'm questioning, I know I'm made for more. I know there's more calling me, there's something else that my heart's singing about. I stayed in this business or at the job I had that was paying me 6 figures as an executive, because the money was too good to walk away from, the money and the benefits. And even though I felt like it was like literally like kind of killing me every day, I stayed. And that is called having the golden handcuffs. And if you're on here now and you've got golden handcuffs on, you can say me, or you can share this with somebody else who you hear complain about. A lot of times it's people that have been at their job or their business for a while and have achieved a certain amount of income, and they're just kind of, it doesn't suit them anymore. So, and they'll stay just because they can't afford. They'll say, I can't afford not to leave. And so what is happening also to them and us and all of us that have this golden handcuff experience is society, the capitalist society, the United States at least, and other places, it keeps telling you, just keep going, keep climbing, get another promotion, just make more money. If you make more money, you're going to be happier. You're going to be able to do more in your life. You're going to be able to travel and see more and buy more things. And work another 10 years, and then maybe you can retire. Okay, so if you're on here and you're telling me cuss words and you're telling me you want me to shut up, you do not have to stay on here. And I would ask you to please remove yourself, okay? You don't have to use bad words, and you also don't have to be on here if you don't like what I'm saying. So there you go. All right, so yeah, just leave. Just go ahead and leave. So after about 10 years, you start telling yourself, and I already talked about this, okay, well then I'll retire. I'll just wait. I'll wait until I retire. I'll keep getting this money. And then you finally do retire. But here's the problem. And this might be really good for you to listen to, you that is telling me to shut up. I mean, this might be the very thing that's going to help you in your life, okay? So your salary is going to disappear when you stop working. Your salary is going to disappear when you stop working. That's a reality. You might have a little bit of retirement coming in, but that salary's gone. But if you have something pulling at you and you purposefully start looking at legacy wealth, creating legacy wealth, that wealth will keep paying you and your family long after you're gone, okay? So I'm so glad you're rich. That's so cool. Why don't you connect with me, and I'll help you invest more and make more money. It's super good. Okay, so instead of asking, how can I make more money, right? Ask, how can my money create more money? How can my money create more money? How can your money create more money? And that is where investing begins. When you stop looking for the salary that you want, the salary that you're getting, and then you look to start creating more money by investing in real estate, things change. Things can change a lot. So real estate, I've been doing real estate for about 30 years, and it's one of the only few investments where you can control about almost everything about it. You literally can control almost everything about it, okay? So you can control how much money you make in a year. Definitely can control that. You can control, like, and that's the cash flow, right? You can use already what you own to leverage more and get more houses without putting your money into it. You can creatively finance things and have absolutely no money to put into it and figure out how to buy things and build wealth. You can reduce your taxes, you can scale, you can do all of that with real estate and more. It creates equity. It creates a monthly income if you want it. If you're flipping, you can sell the thing for big amounts of money, like $50,000, $70,000 at a time. I have clients that, quite frequently make, $50,000 off a flip. So it is the one tool that I know of and that I've used personally that will scale you and your wealth quickly. I was talking to a client today about his plans and his strategies for using real estate because he's just started to invest. And one of the things that we were talking about is, how you can go big faster, right? Because you can get, and we were talking about how much money you can make in assets in real estate fairly quickly. And it's one of the only places where you can literally have a I'm talking $1 billion portfolio in real estate fairly quickly. Now, to build $1 billion business, if you went and started your own business, or some of you mentioned you work for your father or something like that, to build $1 billion business, that is quite a feat. To get $1 billion in stock investments, that's quite a feat. But you could literally invest in the United States, maybe 6 properties, and the asset value, you would be technically a billionaire. Now, would you be bringing in $1 billion a month? No, but your assets would be worth that, and that's what starts to build wealth and build your capital and build your legacy, because that legacy of real estate is going to continue to increase in value. Real estate, you can say that real estate investing is a thing of the past, but I also wonder, do you invest in real estate? And, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'll be made wrong, but throughout history, real estate has never gone down. It might dip, but it's never gone down in value, and they're not creating any more of it. God ain't making any more land. So it's going to continue to go up in value. It has since biblical times, and it's always been a tangible asset, which is unlike Bitcoin, unlike really your stocks, unlike many, many other things. Literally, the house you buy now, if you take care of it, they're in Europe, there's literally houses that are 400 and 500 years old. It can be there through your children's lifetime, your lifetime, and over time, it's just going to continue to go up and up and up in value. So real estate is the way that I know of, that I believe in, that you can actively create wealth. And the other part of what it actively can create is the path for you to respond to that tug inside of you, that inner tug of what you want in your life, and it gives you a vehicle to fund it. So just for today, I'm going to talk about the difference between income and wealth, and then I'm going to give you literally the formula, the blueprint for how you can use real estate to build the legacy that'll last and last and last. And this is actually something, hi, how you doing? This is actually a way that I teach my investors, and I just taught it today, that they taught it to one of them today, that will help them very quickly move from just starting out as a real estate investor into being literally a billionaire. I'm not talking millions, billionaire in investing, okay? So yeah, I'm glad you're from the Philippines. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for saying hi. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe. I'm here almost every, day coming on live, and I would love you to interact and be part of the community and share your ideas and all that kind of stuff. But please keep it clean. We can think of other words to use besides cuss words, and please keep your comments positive, if you will. We don't need to tear each other down. We've got enough of that in the world. So let's try to build up. And even if you don't agree, you can put something in that, put your statement in that maybe someone would learn from. And if you don't have anything to share that's of benefit, maybe we can listen, right? So the difference between income and wealth, it's important to think about this. So your income, let's say you make $100,000 a year, $100 a year. Income buys your lifestyle. So your income allows you to pay your bills. It, allows you to buy the car you want, to buy the groceries you like, pay for your kids' tuition, pay for the clothes you like to buy, the jewelry you like to buy, all that thing. But the difference is with wealth, your assets, what you own for long terms, buy your freedom. So your income buys a lifestyle, but your assets buy your freedom. And I don't know anybody who doesn't want more freedom. I really don't. So your job may fund your today and what's happening in your world today, but real estate can also fund today plus tomorrow. And when I say tomorrow, I'm talking about you when you retire, you in a month, you in a year, you when you retire, and then your kids and your kids' kids, and what happens next. It is the reason that most wealthy people, and if you want to go research wealthy people and what they invest in, almost every single wealthy person owns real estate. And there's a reason for that, because it lasts. And they also can have all kinds of different ways of using one piece of real estate to get more real estate and create more money and create more wealth, okay? So here's the formula. And this is pretty important if you're interested in getting into wealth. And I'm so glad you're wealthy. That's so cool. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. So, and maybe you can help put some words in there. So, all right. So stage one in terms of real estate investing is you go ahead and you have your career income and you decide to use it wisely. And you don't buy really big liabilities in real estate right away. You purchase assets, okay? And I would tell you, first of all, if you want to create a cash stack that you can use and start investing, you can look into flipping properties. And flipping properties is when you buy something for under the value of that property, and then you improve it. You put new things into it, all the things, and then you sell it in a few months after you've renovated it, right? So somebody says here, what a headache. I say develop a skill that helps others solve their problems. Cool. Yeah. I don't want to be a landlord. No, I have been a landlord, and I agree with you. And I don't want to have someone living in a home I would never live in myself. Real estate is not for me. Great, totally fine. It's good you know that. That's way cool. I will say there's a difference between all real estate investing is not being a landlord, okay? You don't always have to rent the house that you buy. You can. You can also get property managers that do it for you, that take care of it. And I do nothing, lay in bed and watch YouTube and just make money, $100K a day. Super. Why don't you make some videos and teach other people how to do that? That's so cool. All right. So if you want to get into real estate, if it's calling you, or there's something calling you that you want to fund, and you don't lay in your bed all day and make YouTube videos and make $100K a day, and you want something else in your life and you want to figure out how to fund it, you can start out by investing in a flip and that would be a house you put more value into. It can be a commercial building, it could be an apartment building, and then you turn around and you sell it. Okay, so then you start to stack some cash. And once you have that cash, that little bit of cash, you could do this again, do it maybe 2 times. And if you're making about $50,000 in profit, that's your net profit after you've, invested and all the things and paid your contractors and all the things. If you're making $40,000 to $50,000 in net profit, when you do that a couple of times, you can have $80,000. $80,000 is plenty to go a little bit bigger in real estate investing. And somebody mentioned that they didn't want to do it because they didn't want to be a landlord and all the things. You don't have to. I actually have a program where I invest for people. I do it for them, and they become investors. So they receive returns, and they don't do anything except give the money so it can be invested and then get returns. So you could do it that way. So once you get a couple of flips, this is my formula, you would go ahead and start investing in bigger projects, whether it be like apartments, it could be a family, it could be communities, building communities. In the United States, there's a big need for communities for affordable housing. And also in the United States, there's more and more people who are above the age of 50 years old, who are very active and very healthy, and they're starting to retire from their jobs. So they want to have somewhere they live where they can be active, right? And they might not want still the big home that they owned, and so they sell their big home and then move to a smaller community where they can interact with other people. So what I'm saying about this, the point of it is once you have a little cash stack, you can start to invest in different things and receive returns. You don't necessarily have to own it or be the landlord or anything like that to receive returns as an investor. So when you start doing that, you've moved, I would call stage 1, where you're doing flips, you're just kind of stacking your cash and making more money. Stage 2 is when you start really acquiring properties and investments that are producing consistent income, and that is giving you more and more and more cash flow. And many times my investors, very quickly, the cash flow that they're bringing in at stage 2 overtakes the amount, it's more than the amount of money they're bringing in their income, their career. Okay, so, and then at the same time, the houses appreciate, they go up in value, the apartments go up in value, and so all of a sudden you've invested in something, and maybe you paid $300,000 for an apartment building, or 400, 500, or maybe $1 million, and then all of a sudden in 3 years it's gone up in value. So not only have you gotten the income from buying that apartment and getting the money from that's coming in from renting it, you're also making money as the property increases in value over time. I'm so glad you know how to do all that. So cool. So this allows a lot of people, not a lot of people, everyone, if you do it the right way, tax advantages too. You don't pay taxes on it until you sell the property. If you never sell the property and you leave it to your kids, that can be a turnover in how taxes go. If you, in the United States at least, if you own Airbnbs, and I am not saying that I'm a CPA, that I'm an accountant. I'm not giving you advice on your taxes. You need to get advice on that. But in the United States, if you own Airbnbs, you can also increase your income and own these houses in great places to visit, and you go live, stay in them for a week or something like that in, let's say, Hawaii or Las Vegas or whatever. And then in the meantime, other people use that house and rent it short term. That's Airbnb model. And there's a good tax advantage for that too. So you have this kind of vacation place that you're writing off the taxes. Once you get kind of the flow of that going and the income of that going in, and that starts to build like this. It starts to go from here and it goes up and out. There's a lot of asset. There's a lot. If you focus on this, then it'll grow. Okay. So those assets take over paying your expenses. and all of a sudden your rentals, what you've invested in, is paying your mortgage. You go on vacations and it's paid for by that, the investments you have, your kids' college accounts, your retirement, all the things. Okay, so you keep building and building and building. And then after that, you know what you could do? You can become a coach. You can start a YouTube channel and start talking about it, telling people exactly how to do it and using these choices. You could switch over and make real estate your business. You could have real estate investments and go start a ministry. That could fund anything you wanted. Write a book. Maybe lay in your bed all day and don't, do any work, and real estate is funding that too, because you have these investments that are paying you. Mentor other people, and your purpose at this point becomes possible because your income is no longer dependent on your time. Your income is related to your assets, and that's legacy. That is when you start, yeah, in some way, your index funds are really good and they'll really build, but they also are volatile, and they also don't tend to increase in value over time and last over time. As well as real estate is. And I'm not saying that you don't do these other things. I mean, certainly, if you like index funds, invest in them. Use some of your money that you have invested, that you're getting from your real estate investment, and go put it into index funds too. Why not, Okay, so, but all of this is helping you build a legacy. And a legacy is something that outlasts you. So, and legacy is not only about money. I mean, on this channel, we talk a lot about God and God's gifts and the giftedness that's you, and, building community and who you are and purpose. And so, money's one part of it, but there's a lot more, that goes into building a legacy. So legacy is also like spending time with your kids, because you've got freedom, you've got money freedom, and you can take them to Disney or whatever, spending time with your grandchildren. Legacy is the memories that are made on family vacations. It's also funding missions, helping out people in other parts of the world that are in need, helping others buy homes, investing in others as they try to build up and become, legacy builders as well. Supporting your church, giving to other people generously, helping your family. All of that is legacy as well, because ultimately, if you think about it, what's going to happen when you pass away? People are not going to remember the Rolls Royce you had, or the size of your house. Maybe a little bit they would, but really they're going to remember you, and they're going to remember how you showed up in the world, and they're going to remember that is legacy. How you gave to the world, what you did in the name of God to take care of this world and act on your own purpose, your own stuff. So it's also teaching your children about how wealth is created. Don't you think when you're investing and you're actively, have an apartment complex, you drive by it, your kids know you own it, you may have a property management company that takes care of it, so you're not there every day managing it. But don't think your kids see that? Don't you think that your kids have a feeling of pride about that? It's a physical, tangible place. And your children, because of that, end up inheriting the places, the assets that you own in real estate. And they also inherit the pride. They inherit your legacy of what you've done. They inherit more than money. They inherit your spirit, your entrepreneurial efforts, your knowledge, your excitement about life. And that becomes them inheriting your way of thinking about the world, of how you build things, how you build community, how you give back. So like I said, I start everybody in my world. I start most people in flipping. Flipping houses. Like I said, is when you buy a house for less. It needs help. It needs renovation. It needs to be restored, and you buy it for less than the value of what the house would sell for, and then you fix it up, and then you put it on the market, and you make a profit, right? I like that model because it's small enough where you can manage it. You're not jumping into something big and trying to figure out all the moving parts, because in real estate, strategy, there can be a lot of moving parts. And so flipping, it's very manageable, and you can learn all of the aspects of real estate investing from that experience. You learn how to evaluate properties, you learn how to figure out what net profits are, you figure out funding sources, you figure out investors, you figure out the marketing and the sales of products, you figure out how to create a house as a product in a market. So there's just tons and tons of flipping, and why I love it, okay? So what really is true about this in the legacy perspective? I'm going to talk about it for, in terms of lifestyle, and then I'm going to go into a little bit of faith, and then we're going to kind of wind up for this evening because I'm tired, and I just, we'll just kind of wind up. But most people say they want millions of dollars, but they don't really want that money. It's not the money they want. What the money gives them is what they want. They want freedom, peace, they want a collective family, and they want to be able to give to their family. They want to be able to travel. They want more time. Many people that have significant amount of money, instead of trading their time for money, they buy their time. That's why I said a management company handles things, because you don't want to be there taking care of all that stuff in a apartment complex. And they also, lifestyle is about impact. Like, what are you doing to make the world a better place? What are you doing that is meaningful? And so in this world, in this space, in real estate investing, real estate is not the answer. It's simply a vehicle to make your lifestyle and your legacy better. Yeah. Let's see what you're saying here. I get the legacy part of this, especially with my father and I working side by side. I love that. That's beautiful. Reputation is everything when it comes to business. That's so true. And I'm going to tell you something. Somebody mentioned a minute ago. Thank you for putting that out there. I love that. That is definitely legacy, and it gave me goosebumps. Truly did. Thank you for sharing that. And, somebody shared earlier about, I don't want to own some place that I would never live in. Well, I don't either, and I never own anything. I never renovate anything. I never put anything on the market that I wouldn't live in, or I wouldn't have my children live in. I have that standard, and that's what you're talking about too. In real estate, you're going to create that kind of legacy. You're going to be known for the integrity you have, the value that you put forward, and you're going to be known for that kind of same perspective as you just mentioned about working with your father, and your reputation is exactly right. That is legacy. And and that leads me to that faith conversation about all this. I don't think that God created any of us to just kind of survive, just make money and, think about money and, fund our day-to-day lives until we retire and then have no real purpose or anything. I can't even fathom that that's why we were created. He created us for, I love the story that was just told, like working together side by side with a family member for 20 years, teaching our children what is important, creating things in our community, doing ministry, supporting our churches. He created us to love and give to each other, to steward resources well, and not just steward it, but to multiply. Be a multiplier of what we've been entrusted with, whether it's love, whether it's family, whether it's, money, whatever it is. God created us to be the conduit of light to bring that forward. And that means we're going to end up blessing future generations. So how do you bless future generations if you're just living to survive, right? It is, legacy wealth is not about greed. Just like the person who just shared the story of working side by side with his father for 20 years and having a reputation as a business. There's nothing there about ripping people off or making money off of them or anything. It's not about greed. It's about stewardship. Stewardship of what is important, right? And it's about creating resources. And it's like kind of holy work that continue to do good after we're gone. So a couple of people mentioned in here, well, that's really nice, but how do you do it? So I'm going to go ahead and give you like 7 steps of what you would do to get going. And if you want to meet with me about this, you can go to my website and talk further about real estate investing, creative investing, what you could get into, what are some of your ideas. I will help you build your personal strategy around what you really want, around these seven kind of steps or ideas. So first of all, defining the life that you actually want is more important than how much money you want, because it's going to guide how much money you want. I mean, to fund the life you actually want, I bet you've never thought about how much money would it really take to fund the life you really want. I mean, that is the first step, is understanding and thinking about what is the life you actually want. And then number 2 is determine what your freedom number is. When you hit, $200,000 a year, is that when you are free? That's when all your bills are paid. That's when you can do whatever you want and you can really are building your legacy. You got to determine your freedom number, and then learn one real estate strategy very well, whether it's flipping, investing in multifamily, whatever it is. Learn it very well and be very intentional about buying your first investment. Talk to other people who have done it, research the market, just be super intentional about why you're doing it, how it's going to build you to what you actually want, how it's going to take you to your freedom number, okay? Usually I get people started, like I said, in flipping. And then this is so important. Once you get going in anything, building a business or whatever it is, in real estate investing, you need a team. You really need a good team, and you need to stop thinking about doing everything yourself. You trying to renovate the house and tear out the walls and build them back and paint them. It takes too much of your time, too much of your energy, and you're trading your time for energy. You're trading your time for money, and you've got to learn how to not do that anymore if you're really going to have money and assets, because you can't build something if all of your focus is on painting one wall, right? So having a good team is so important. Now, if you play with me and we do things for you, you can borrow my team until you have your own. I have a team that's a contractor, I have project managers, I have, all the things. But you really, really, really want to have that team built. And then reinvest profits instead of just always upgrading your lifestyle. Now, you can take what I used to do, and what I haven't done it really lately because it's been, my investments have just been kind of fluctuating, but 60-40 keeps, 40% for yourself and impact your lifestyle, and then 60% to reinvest, okay? And then think, this is really important in real estate investing and really any kind of legacy building endeavor, is you want to think in terms of the long game, in decades instead of months. If you get into real estate investing, this is where I see people get the most frustrated, is they come in to do a flip and they want that $50,000 net profit, or whatever it's going to be, $30,000, $40,000 net profits, and then something's not going right, or it's not moving as fast as they want, and they don't have a long-term vision. like you know, the person who commented about working with his dad for 20 years, I'm sure they have a longer term vision about what is this all about. If you don't have that and you're all about this one flip has to do everything for you in real estate, you're going to be very disappointed. I see it happening over and over and over again. So for me, I just want to share my story really quickly about this. The reason that I think this is so important is I will honestly admit this to you, that I think I made money my God for a long time. Like, it was always about how I could make more money, how I could have more money, and concern about not having enough money. Like, I was kind of leaving the God of abundance out of it, and leaving the feeling that I was taken care of, and that, you know, all of that stuff out of it. Was always about, you know, running the game, the hustle to make more money, make more money. And it never was enough. I was always tired, always overwhelmed, and things didn't always work well either. It wasn't like a good flow or easy. And it just wasn't enough, even though I, you know, would make millions of dollars, like literally in a year. It just didn't feel like fulfilled. And so over time, I started realizing that, you know, I really was being called by God, and I really wanted to do some things in ministry, and I really felt better when I was helping people have a better life. And even in like real estate investing, if I put something out there that was a really good product, that felt good, but if it was more affordable for them so a whole family could have their home that they've always dreamed of, that just felt so good. So I started like really defining what I wanted in my life. I wanted to have a good relationship with my son. I wanted to have long walks on the beach and lots of peace. I wanted to have mornings of prayer time. I wanted to have, you know, I wanted stuff too, and I wanted to have an okay life, but I started using real estate instead of the God and the way to make more money, obsession about money, as a tool and not the destination, not success as a destination. And I quit making real estate about owning all these houses, owning all this stuff so I could show it off. And I wanted to instead develop things that serve the community. Like right now, I'm developing a senior small home community where people can live affordably who are older, and help each other, love each other, and, you know, walk trails and have this fire pit, and, you know, have a little community. And you know, all of the houses that we buy, my team and I buy and renovate now and flip on behalf of investors, we always are looking to how can we make them affordable? How can we make them very, very nice homes that somebody could step in and afford? So yes, I got the comment, and I love your comments, by the way. I don't know what your name is, but I love your comments. I agree. Stick to one skill and strategy and get to know it well. I love how all the investments carry the same rules. Quick money never stays long. It doesn't stay long in your heart either, right? It feels like it's not of God, right? Not following a plan is better than not having a plan. I guess so. You know, yeah. I mean, you know, I love knowing my plan for my life, and that's the guide, and that real estate's this tool, like you said, the strategy. And you want to own your own time in this life so that you can give it away, so you can give your heart away, so you can be with your children, all the things, and you can know your calling and serve it. Serve your calling, not serve your money. That's what I want to be about. And you really, I mean, all of us, I mean, everyone I talk to who wants to come into real estate always tells me they want to leave something meaningful behind. Always. So this is a great way to leave that meaningful stuff behind. So I want you to think about these things as I finish up tonight, and I appreciate everybody for being on with me. I just love this community. I really, really do. I love your comments. I love your hearts. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you know somebody that would benefit from this, please share this. And I love being here with you. So I want you to think about this for just a couple of questions just for you to ponder. If truly money were no object in your life, if you had all the money that you ever could have, you could just make it happen in a day, what would you spend your life doing? Where would you spend your time? And then another question to kind of think about is, what legacy do you want your children and your grandchildren to inherit? Is it money? Is it wealth? Or is it memories of you? Seeing you passionately work on something, seeing how you impacted the world. I mean, what legacy? What does legacy really mean to you? And you can find that out by asking yourself what you want your children and grandchildren to inherit. And that could be traits, that could be passions, it can also be money. And is your current career actually funding your vision? Or is it delaying it? Are you on the defensive or the offensive? Are you on the offense, going out there, making it, creating it and building your legacy? Or are you on the defense, waiting and just, doing what you need to do because you got those golden handcuffs and all the things? Are you on the offense or the defense, building your life and building your vision, right? And what would you change if your investments paid for your lifestyle instead of going to that job all the time that paid your lifestyle? What would you change? These are great questions to think about because they're going to guide you into your purpose. Many people are like, I don't know what my purpose is. You do know what your purpose is. You just got to stop long enough to connect and get that intuition. We fight with our intuition and tell it it's not for real all the time, but that's God talking to you. So I'm going to invite you to take a next step if you want to. I would love it. And if you're a high earner, if you're one of the people that's been on here saying I make $100,000 a day or whatever you're saying, and you've built a successful career and you know that you're made for something more, something's tugging at you. This is the group of people that I love and I teach strategic real estate investing to. How to use a tool, how to find your purpose, how to fulfill your purpose and use real estate as a tool to fund it. And my goal is not about only helping you make money. There's a lot of, real estate teachers and coaches out there that they'll teach you that and they'll teach you, step by step. I can teach you step by step how to make money, but that's not my total goal. My goal is to help you build assets that fund your purpose, create your lasting freedom, and leave a legacy for generations to come. And if that speaks to you, go ahead and just go on my website. I'll put it in the show notes. It's already in the show notes. PaulaBcoaching.com, and set up an appointment with me and let's have a chat. Hope you have a great weekend. Tomorrow, Fridays are my day where I take my sabbatical. I take time off of the devices and go really into deep prayer and spiritual meditation and those kind of things. I'll try to get on before, because I start at sunset on Friday and I go to sunset on Saturday. So I'll try to get on and do the live before that happens. It doesn't always occur, but if not, I will see you. And please, offer up a prayer and a special thought for me as I go into sabbatical. I would encourage you to do it too. Taking 24 hours off of devices and off of your phones and all the things, it is not easy. I'll tell you, you find out how addicted you are and how distracting it is. I mean, it's such a distraction from emotions, all the things. I'll do a whole nother show about it. We'll talk about it. But so I do it. I've started doing it for several months now, and I look forward to it all the time. I walk on the beach and have a nice meal and relax and rest. God wants us to rest, guys. Well, God wants us to trust Him enough so we can relax and rest, because God's got it all the time. So that means we can rest, right? Okay, we'll talk to everybody soon. If you haven't liked and subscribed, I would love you to. I will see you hopefully tomorrow, but very, very soon on another live. Thank you so much for your comments. Love being here with you. I was really tired and like not even wanting to do this when I first came on, and here I've been on for almost an hour. So thank you so much. You lead me around, and you're helping me, and you're giving me spirit. So I so appreciate that. Take care.